Hey, Bayek, it's me, and in today's video, I'm looking at this. This is Edge of Sanity from 1989. And before I go on, I'd just like to thank Phil. Thank you so much, Phil, for sending this. This is a wonderful film, and I think you knew that I'd really love it, and I do. Fantastic it is. Now, it's 85 minutes long. Rotten Tomatoes give it 33%. What? Yes. They don't like it that much at all. There's a lot of hostility to this film. It's really incredible. I can't believe it. Why? Watching a different film, perhaps. I don't know. But now, I think now, on reflection, it is... Well, I think people should recognize exactly how good this is. Now, it's written by J.P. Felix and Ron Rayleigh. It's based on, of course, The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde from 1886 novel by Robert Louis Stevenson. Also, it's based on historical events of Jack the Ripper. Oh, yes, Jack the Ripper. The Whitehall murders, which were between 1888 and 1891, which it's a name that is still so talked about even nowadays. It's one of those historical characters that have carried on, and they never caught him. There's so much mythology as well around Jack the Ripper, but this film definitely taps into all that. Beautifully done, it really is. Now, it's directed by Gerard Kikoin. Kikoin? Oh, it's a French. Now, I'm afraid he's got a list of films and they are a little naughty. Yes, very naughty. The one that popped out, that just stood out, was Buried Alive, 1989, which is a horror film, and as you might have noticed, if you've been paying attention, it's the same year as this came out. And it's a very good Buried Alive, excellent film. It's a horror film, and of course, this is a horror as well, so there we are. Now, music is by Frederick Talagon. I think that's how you pronounce it. Talagon, yes. Notable films that he scored was Fortress, 1992, and Robot Jocks, 1990, which we've come across as well in that Arrow box set. Yes. Now, I'd just like to say, I'm not one who always notices scores as much. It's only more recent years I've been getting into them. But I think the score is great, and it's got a very good classical feel. Beautiful classical feel to it. And it adds to the drama and atmosphere very much. Absolutely love it. Fantastic. Now, locations: Budapest, Hungary, Mal Film Studios, Budapest, Hungary, and also in London. This reflects financing as well on this film. The locations, wonderful, absolutely, looks fantastic. Now, let's get into the cast. Anthony Perkins, of course, heads the cast. He plays Dr. Henry Jekyll and Jack Hyde. See how they put the Jack in the Hyde now, so we get the Jack the Ripper influence. Yes. Then films, of course, that Anthony Perkins is just got a wonderful filmography. I'll just pick a few out. On the Beach, 1959. Outstanding film that is, really is. And then it launched him as Norman Bates. Psycho, 1960. Wow, yes. But then we've got The Trial, 1962, which is very well thought of. Catch-22, 1970. The Black Hole, 1979. Wow, that's the Disney film. An action film. North Sea Hijack, 1980. These are just a few that I'm just picking out. Then, of course, we got him in Psycho 2 in 1983. Brilliant sequel to Psycho. And he's fantastic. Then, I thought this film just was interesting. He was in Crimes of Passion from 1984, which is a Ken Russell film. And a bit, yes, interesting. I'll put it in those terms. And kind of part of reflected in some of this role as well. Very interesting film. I should also mention Psycho 3, 1986. Reprises his role as Norman Bates. It's absolutely a bit gorier, maybe. And he directed it. What a talent. What a talent. Yes, and then we've got Glynis Barber, who plays Elizabeth Jekyll. British actress who we knew, really, in terms of TV. Blake Seven, she's in the 4th season playing Sulin, and she was excellent. That was in 1981, the very last season. Some people don't rate it as much. Maybe it's not quite as good, but I enjoy it. It doesn't matter. I love it, and she's really good. But she's really well known still today is Dempsey and Makepeace, a cop show, 1985 to 1986, was a massive hit. Then we've got Sarah Moore Ward, who plays Susan. The outstanding film really just stands out was The Presence of Snowgood from 2023, which is a ghost horror story last year. Yeah, that's a massive film for her. Then we've got David Lodge, who plays Underwood. David Lodge is a face you recognise, and we've talked about him and come across him before. I'll just go through some of his career. It goes back to 1954. Yesterday's Enemy, 1959, a Hammer classic and a real classic war film. It's one of the best I've ever seen. I really do it in terms of impact of what it is about. It's an amazing film. It really is. It's one that really stands in my mind. Yeah. And then he's in on I'm All Right, Jack, 1959, League of Gentlemen, 1960. He was in Carry On Regardless, yes, 1961. He was in The Pirates of Blood River, 1962. Christopher Lee, remember in that? A Hammer. Oh, What a Lovely War, 1969, musical. Richard Attenborough's debut as a director. Scream and Scream Again, 1970, Vincent Price. What a film. I absolutely love that film. The Railway Children. He's in The Railway Children, 1970. Oh, I love The Railway Children. Then, here we are. He was in On the Buses, 1971. Mutiny on the Buses, 1972. Oh, On the Buses. You've got to love him, haven't you, for being in those. And then, Carry On Girls, 1973, which is actually, I think, one of my favourites. I know it's a later one of Carry On films. There's quite a few of favourites, but that is definitely one of them. And then he was in Carry On Dick, 1974. Carry On Behind, 1975. And he was in Carry On England, 1976, which is probably best not to talk about. It's one of the worst in the whole series, but there we are. Yes. So those are the cast of the film. Now, I'll just give you an idea of what the story is about. You've probably got some idea because we've given you a few clues, but it's the modern sort of take and the way it's written. Now, it is. It's obviously set in Victorian England at that period, late 1880s, definitely. It's Dr. Henry Jekyll we see. Though at the beginning we see him as a child and may reflect. He sees basically a sexual, very sadomasochistic sexual scene at the beginning of the film, and as a boy, and that kind of reflects into his mind. But anyhow, we see him now. He's a respectable, or so we think, doctor. Is Dr. Henry Jekyll. Now, what happens is he's doing these various experiments and he accidentally ingests some ether and cocaine. And of course, like it does, it just transforms him into this hideous Jack Hyde, just like it would do, wonderful stuff. No, it's really good, brilliant. And the transformation we see I just love it. It's so good. It brings the film really into focus. It really does. So then we see him really as a Jack the Ripper character, because he's going around killing various ladies, a lot of them of the night. Yes, and we see him going through various sort of whorehouses, brothels, even opium dens. He's touring, doing a tour of killing. And of course, as he's descending into this, he keeps going into this character, his mind is starting to get more and more deranged. And a lot of those fantasies that are coming alive in way, and all the repressions, there's a lot of sexual stuff going on here in this film. Deep repressive sexuality, sadomasochism, it's all there coming out in this film. And it's brilliantly done. It's a great film. It just sails by, and I absolutely think this is such a good film that I can't understand why anybody would not appreciate how good this film is, even if you're not a great feel of the subject matter. I mean, I do. I love these horror films, but it's so well done. And then what he does, he's able to, the director, his style, he gets this surrealistic kind of quality, and we get the sort of good and evil scene, the way, the style of filming. We get more when he's doing the sort of Victorian era, and we see it much lighter. The way it's filmed, it's the good side, but then we see the evil side, which is darker, and he kind of makes it more contemporary. Even the style of fashion, the way he's dressed, the way it's filmed, as he talks in the extras about that, because quite rightly, he didn't want to make just another film about Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. There's so many. And this is the important that Anthony Perkins absolutely goes to town in a brilliant performance. We see him as Henry Jekyll. Then, as Jack Hyde, he descends into this evilness. Oh, it's wonderful. And the difference with other films, there's no prosaics involved. No prosaics at all. All it is makeup and acting. Yes, really, it is that good. And he is evil in the role. He's fantastic. What a performance. You think to yourself, why didn't he get an Oscar for this? I know people will probably laugh and say you wouldn't for a film like that. But why not? Why not indeed? Because he gives a tour de force performance in how to act evil. Really, I mean, this is my brief on this film. How good Anthony Perkins! I can't talk about him enough. We know how good he is at Norman Bates, but he's just showing his abilities as an actor. Amazing, and he should be recognised for that. Absolutely love it. I just think it's a great film. A story of descent into madness and hell. and darkness, but it's so brilliantly done. And of course, the ending might upset some people as well. I'm not going to give away the ending, but I think it did. I think it unset. That's perhaps another hostility towards this film, but I think it reflects a truth in the world. And before I go as well, I should just show you this. There it is. Look at that cover. Wow. Look at that. Brilliant. I say thank you again, Phil, for this. But look at that as well. It's an Arrow release. There's loads of extras. And there's the inside. Wow, look at that. Fantastic. And of course, we've got this book as well with it. What a release. I'm just can't believe how good it is. I'm going on. I better not. So, I hope you've enjoyed my review. I've absolutely loved it. And thanks again, Phil. Wow. This was absolute delight, really. So, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, and we'll let you know when I put out these videos. And hopefully look in playlists and see all the other things that I review. You might find something you might like, perhaps you won't. I don't know. But if you like this video, please give this a like, because it gets it out onto YouTube, and then other people might like it, and it gets into algorithms and all that, and recommendations. And if you've got any comments, please put your comments down. I'd love to read your comments. I really do. And it all costs a note, so you can't say fairer than that. So I've been going on far too long, but all I've got to say is, I'll see thee again.